Just a quick video today as we're trading midweek this week to see what's going on with the market, what we're expecting. So, yeah, one of the scenarios we were kind of mapping out was like bears. They want to see a continuation kind of going down. But what we saw on first thing Monday was that beautifully bullish candle. Really nice. Volume is okay, but we are entering a period of seasonal weakness and also, yeah, technicals might not be respected as much in August. So just being a bit wary of that. But yeah, so we're into Tuesday today. Still a few hours left on the market. But traded the short side today, but then also used that as an opportunity to get in some more longs because clearly this candle here does show us like it filled the gap literally perfectly in one solid day. And having a nice solid green candle like that is, yeah, it's pretty bullish, to be honest. So yeah, so if we just look at, well, what positions I suppose that we kind of took initially. So at the moment, so I was kind of felt like I missed out a little bit in video. I was hoping to get into it yesterday, but I was waiting for a sufficient pullback, which would have been actually around here. The market around 12 o'clock done the same sort of thing, which is, you can kind of see here. So if I try to zoom in for that a bit better, but you can kind of see here, we kind of compress, test VWAP a little bit, and then boink. So after that breakout and then test sideways, I was quite happy to go long at that point, really. And there was no real reason to get out as the day went on. So I was anticipating, and I think sometimes this is some mental training or reminding that I needed to do for myself. Because in my journal, I was kind of kicking myself, being like, the market's going to carry on going up here. We closed that, and I missed a big opportunity to get in. But that scenario doesn't always play out, so you have to be patient and sometimes stick to your guns and what your thesis might be, which I was waiting for a better opportunity to get in. But sometimes being a bit gun shy can be a problem unto itself if you can't take any positions. So yeah, I've entered Nvidia, so I waited for a HA reversal. I was probably a little bit early, to be honest, because what a common scenario would be, especially if it's a potential bearish trend day, even if you get the same one in a bullish one, you have a nice down move like this, like on pretty decent volume, but you're obviously going to get a pullback at some point, and you want to evaluate that pullback to kind of see, what happens to it. Because we don't often, we do sometimes get murder V's, right? It doesn't go boink and then boink. It tests it. So we kind of bounce off this level, and it's like, okay, what happens? It's like, we go back down. And what could have happened, we could have just gone back down again. So as a downside, that may have not been the best move, because we kind of saw that here, right? You see the same sort of thing. Fair enough, this is a gap up, but this is what you might see. You might see this and then that retest. If we're bullish, we would want to see, closing over VWAP here would be really nice, but it did not, right? It just rejected off that and continued down. So now I'd be holding my two positions as a bit of not a bag holder, because they were just initiating positions, but same thing here, right? Down and then back down again. So what I was taking in was the overall context of, we're pretty bullish, to be honest, at the moment. We had this great candle here. Is it going to be instantly wipe out when there's not really much news going on today? Unlikely, but obviously still possible. So maybe that's what I should have waited for. But you obviously get a double bottom here. That's quite nice. I would have gone long after this. Again on VWAP, really nice. Might take something in there as well. But yeah, not taking too much, because this is not exactly a high probability trading environment today. But what I took, just to go into that quickly, 3 trades actually. So the first one was a short, and it was on crowd, just like the price action on crowd, just weakness and just general death, really. And what I was aiming for was this kind of target. Let me just take that picture off. At the time, we were obviously much higher up here, but I was aiming for this this kind of candle here. But because I'm a bit unsure of shorting and shorts at the moment, I didn't wait for my usual, which would have been I would just wait for a kind of 5 minute LRSI. Didn't get that because I could have closed for 539. What did I get in for? Let me just check. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, so it was 10. Yeah, okay, so 449, and I ended up getting out at 446. So it's it's $3-4, but I left a lot on the table basically. There was no real reason to exit here. And I think what was happening with it wasn't even the market. I just thought that maybe the market was starting to bottom out this process. Yeah, I just exited a bit early, to be honest. That would be my takeaway. So I took $3-4 on it, but I left a lot more on the table. Well, again, this was my original target. I could have got pretty close to that target, but it did take profit. But good lesson. Credo, same sort of thing. Took 2 long positions on that market kind of bounce up that we were just talking about. Been meaning to get into both CRDO and Nvidia mainly, but I just like the supports, and this green line up here shows that it's still pretty strong. So yeah, like that. So when that market had that bit of a big down day, Credo was actually doing all right, bounced nicely off that level, and that's where we were yesterday. So again, could have taken it yesterday, but I thought, you know what, I'll just wait. I'll see if I can get in an opportunity, because by this point it might be a bit too late, and I did. So I took the opportunity to get in here, same sort of thing. So again, probably maybe a little bit early in hindsight, but what I was aiming for basically is I want a good risk to reward and a good nearby point that says, I've fucked up here. And that for me is the 8 EMA. So I like the risk to reward here to say, I'll take a small position here. And if by end of day we're sitting nicely over VWAP, I might even add to that. That'd be really nice to take into tomorrow. So if my position didn't work out and we got a big down drop, I have a small starting position, and I could absorb the $2 loss that was probably on that. I didn't actually have a stop here. This was my mental stop, which I put just under the 8 EMA. So if we started to get follow through, 1 or 2 candles down past that, then I would probably close it. But this is sometimes why having actual stop orders, I find a bit of a ball ache sometimes. So it started to bounce back. We're now up to VWAP. We're still not past it, which is a bit concerning, because I could still scratch out of this position, but I'm happy to give it some breathing room to see what it can do. Will it make a higher low off there and then continue upwards? But at the moment, it's rejecting off VWAP. Nvidia, same sort of thing. Got in here, waited for a nice HA reversal. So that was around here, 11:05, 11:10. Got that. Same sort of principle. My nearby I fucked up point is if we start closing, cracking below that 8 EMA, which was at the time. So I've moved my stop up. I think I was in 17777, so it's an easy number to remember. So my stop would be just below that really. So like a one-ish dollar risk, and what I'm aiming for is a more than that, more than a 3-to-1. So if we're at 177 and I'm risking $1, 180 is kind of that 3-to-1. So it'd be back up here over this high, which might be where I exit, but I don't want to exit there. I actually would like to try get up to this kind of 183 level. So if Nvidia comes back down, holds VWAP at another test perhaps, I would look to add a few more to that position and then look to maybe take it off tomorrow or the day after, because I'm not super confident in the market at the moment. I don't want to swing things for too long. yeah, so there are my 3 positions that I had on. There were some that I decided not to take today. Hood was one of them. Didn't like the weakness that it was showing. Where was it? It was earlier in the day. Didn't really like it too much. But it was another one that I did like. Financial market, financial sector wasn't doing the best, I think was why. MMM is one that I like, but I want it to go past this VWAP here. Anchor to earnings. If it gets over here, I would see that level tested a bit. I would be happy to go long. And same sort of principle, which I like at the moment, is low risk. So if it climbs over this, it's just have my stop just below, maybe VWAP. Got some support here on the 815 and then anchored VWAP. And you can potentially risk $2-3, and then you're aiming for maybe a 160 sort of level. So try to get that greater than 3-to-1 ratio. And these were some of the others that I had on my radar today, but I was not as interested. Ball was another one potentially. Ooh, nice bounce off VWAP there. Might have to get in for that, because what I've been waiting for is an entry point. And again, my exit would be here, and I would look to ride that position a bit higher. So I actually might take a small position in that. So that's just what my thinking is for the week. So trying to trade both sides, trying to keep pretty nimble and light and not to be attached to a specific idea. I thought there was a really good post that I just want to share, actually, because I think it's really useful. So it's from Dave Weiss in the One Option Trading Room, which I'm not a member of, unfortunately. I would love to be, but I am not. But I'm just seeing if I can find it to show you all, because it was pretty useful, to be honest. Where is it? Nope, I can't find it. Maybe I'll show it my next one if I remember. But yeah, good luck all. Yeah, keep ticking away, and let's just see what the market gives us for the rest of this week. Let's see what this VWAP test does to start with today. See if the market can hold above that level, then I'll look to add some of those positions. Cool. All right. See you, everyone.